Good morning, guys. I am Mrs. Whitehead, and we have brought you outside today to demonstrate the scientific method in action. Today, our experiment will be about Diet Coke and Mentos. Now, before we get started, let's go over some safety rules. You want to make sure that if you are trying this at home, that you wear some kind of protection over your face. Safety goggles. You can wear old clothes. You can wear an apron. Make sure you wear closed-toed shoes, and you pull your hair back today. Now that we're prepared safety-wise, we can start our experiment. What do we want to find out today? We want to find out if the number of Mentos placed in a bottle of Diet Coke will actually affect the height of the fizz. If you notice, there are 4 bottles of Diet Coke here. We will be experimenting with 3 of these, and we're going to leave 1 set aside to represent our control. We will use it as a standard of comparison, and we'll leave it and do nothing to it. You will also see meter sticks. We've actually pre-measured this wall here. This first white brick represents about 1 meter. The second set of white bricks is about 3 meters. And then way up there, the highest white brick represents about 6 meters. All right, let's get started. Good morning, I'm Miss Hartner.
And I'm Miss Windwall. Today, we are actually going to do our experiment. We're going to test it. We're going to test it with 2 Mentos first. So I'm going to open up the Diet Coke and she's going to screw the Mentos on. Sorry, I've got a lawn guy working today, guys. She's going to screw the Mentos geyser tube on. Notice the Mentos have not been dropped in yet. She's going to release the Mentos, and we're going to scoop back, and I want you to take a guess at how high you think the fizz went. Alright guys, so after looking back at the footage, we saw that the height of the foam, where it got the highest, was about to this brick. We've used our meter stick, and we've measured that out to be 1.8 meters. So in your lab results, 1.8 meters was the height of the fizz with 2 Mentos. Next, we are going to add 3 Mentos to the next Diet Coke. So we're adding a Mentos, which hopefully we'll see a difference in the fizz. Will you hold that? Yes. Thank you. Okay, so we just tested 3 Mentos and it went about 5 meters. So now we're going to test 4 Mentos. So I want you to ask yourself in your mind just for a second here, do you think that 4 Mentos will go higher than 5 meters? So let's test it and see. All right, do you want to have the honors this time? And 3, 2, 1. That's really good. 4 Mentos did go higher than 3. It went all the way to 6 meters. Now we are going to talk about our experiment. And we're going to talk about an independent variable and a dependent variable. Every good experiment has an independent and a dependent variable. The independent variable is the variable that you can change. And the variable that we could change in this experiment was the number of Mentos. We added 2, and then 3, and then 4 Mentos. The dependent variable is the variable that you are measuring. So what we measured in this experiment is the height of the fizz. So, as you will see, the next day, we will be going over independent and dependent variable with notes, but you will learn that the independent variable causes the dependent variable to change. The number of Mentos causes the height of the fizz to change.
All right, let's take a look at what actually happened in this experiment with the Mentos and the Diet Coke. It's actually a physical reaction that takes place between the Mentos and the Diet Coke, despite what many believe. Many believe that it's actually a chemical reaction, but it's actually a physical reaction. So how does this work? The Mentos actually has thousands or several tiny pores or divots that actually trap the gas from the CO2. It traps this gas and it has nowhere to escape, and so it escapes out the top and it erupts. It also happens because when you use Diet Coke actually has artificial sweetener as opposed to real sugar. Real sugar would actually dissolve the coating of the Mentos, whereas the artificial sweetener does not dissolve the coating of the Mentos, and so it leaves the tiny divots or pores for the gas to be trapped. That is what happens in this experiment.
All right, so let's talk about this experiment in terms of what we kept the same and what we changed. So we have our control. This is our Diet Coke that is here that we've done nothing to. It stays there and has no change. Then we came over and we have 3 Diet Cokes that stayed the same, but we changed the number of Mentos. So when you're looking at this information, what we changed was the number of Mentos. So that's going to be the I. I changed the Mentos, the independent variable. What we were measuring, the dependent variable, was the height of the fizz. Now I want you to think about some things, because we used peppermint Mentos and we used Diet Coke. What are some other things we might be able to change during this experiment to try and alter the results? Maybe we could change this to fruity Mentos. Maybe we could try regular Coke versus Diet Coke. We could even go as far as doing temperature changes, warm Coke versus cold Coke. All of these things are different variables that you could bring into this experiment and test. But you want to concentrate on one change each time you do an experiment. You don't want to change too many. Sometimes scientists will tell you, don't try this at home. But we want to say, do try this at home.